Sometimes the scariest monsters don't live under your bed. They sit quietly on your shelf, smiling. Tonight's story is about the cursed Lubbubu Doll, a toy so cute yet so deadly it has been banned in several countries. But for one woman in New York City, bringing this doll home became the biggest mistake of her life. Madeline lived in New York City with her dog Buddy. Though she was originally from a small countryside town, after her father's death, she had moved to the city to support her mother and younger sister. Madeline had a very sweet personality. She worked in a toy store and loved toys, especially dolls. Since she worked there, she often got her favorite dolls at discounted prices and had built a collection of unique dolls from different countries. One day, a limited edition Lubbubu Doll collection arrived at her store. The dolls sold out immediately, but Madeline had secretly kept one aside for herself. This particular doll was unlike the others. It had a rare golden shade with a glossy finish, sparkling blue eyes, long, floppy ears, and a wide smile with big, cute teeth. Madeline took the doll home that evening, hugging it tightly, taking photos, and introducing it to her dog Buddy as the newest member of her doll family. Usually, Buddy would wag his tail and run happily around the room whenever Madeline showed him new toys. But this time, when Buddy saw the golden Lubbubu doll, he began barking and growling fiercely. Madeline was surprised but brushed it off, thinking Buddy was just scared. She placed the doll on her shelf and went to bed. But that night, Buddy, who always slept beside her, refused to stay in the room. He kept staring at the doll, growling, and finally ran out. The next morning, as Madeline was about to leave for work, Buddy grabbed her jeans and tried to pull her back toward the shelf where the doll was placed. Annoyed, she scolded him, locked him in the bathroom, and went to work. That day turned out to be the worst day of her career. Madeline, usually polite and cheerful, suddenly lost her temper at a customer and yelled at them. Her boss was shocked and immediately fired her on the spot. Madeline had no idea why she'd become so angry. It wasn't like her at all. Crying, she returned home, released Buddy from the bathroom, and noticed he was still uneasy, growling whenever he looked at the doll. That night, exhausted, she went to sleep early. But around midnight, Madeline heard a strange laugh in her room, one she had never heard before. Looking toward the corner, she saw a shadowy figure staring at her. She got up, but when she turned on the light, no one was there. Only the golden Lubbubu doll had fallen to the floor. She placed it back on the shelf and went to bed again. That night, she had a terrifying dream. She saw a horrific creature in a bedroom. Its body was red and decaying, with enormous sharp fangs and claws. Slowly it crept toward her and reached out to choke her. Terrified, she screamed, but the creature only laughed louder before attacking her with its claws. Suddenly, Madeline woke up, only to find something sitting on her chest. Her heart froze. It was the Lubbubu doll. She had left it on the shelf, but now it was on her bed, grinning wider than before. Before she could react, Buddy lunged at the doll, biting and tearing it apart. Madeline was drenched in sweat, her head pounding with pain. Shaking, she threw the torn pieces of the doll in the trash and went back to bed, hugging Buddy for comfort. The next morning, Madeline woke up with an even worse headache than before. Her hands were covered in small red rashes, almost like bite marks. Strangely, Buddy wasn't in the room. "Buddy!" she called, but there was no response. She searched the entire house, living room, kitchen, backyard, but he was nowhere to be found. Finally, she stepped into the bathroom. Buddy wasn't there either. But when she glanced at the mirror, she froze. Her reflection showed her face covered in more of those red rashes, like something had clawed or bitten her. And behind her shoulder, she could see the same red, decaying creature from her nightmare, laughing hideously toward her. She spun around in terror, but there was nothing, only the bathroom shelf. And on that shelf sat the Lubbubu doll. Madeline's blood ran cold. Buddy had shredded it last night, yet here it was, intact. But now, its once cute smile had twisted into something grotesque and sinister. Madeline ran out of the bathroom, calling out Buddy's name again and again. Finally, she reached the kitchen, and there, near the sink, she saw something that made her scream in horror. The doll was sitting by the sink, its hands and teeth stained red with blood. Trembling, she bent down and looked under the sink. Her world collapsed. Buddy's lifeless body lay there, torn apart, blood still dripping. Madeline collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. She realized the doll wasn't just a toy. It was cursed. Shaking, she searched online for answers and found horrifying news reports. People across the world had similar experiences. Anyone who kept a Lubbubu doll faced tragedies, sudden deaths, illnesses, job losses, even mysterious murders. Some countries had already banned the doll. Others had called in priests and demonologists, calling the Lubbubu doll the vessel of a demonic entity known as Fujuzu. Terrified, Madeline gathered courage. She poured gasoline over the doll, set it on fire, and sealed its ashes inside a jar. That night, she threw the jar into the Hudson River, hoping it was finally over. Later, she called her younger sister, as she explained everything that had happened. For the first time, she felt some relief. Maybe it was truly over. But the next morning, the police found Madeline's dead body in her apartment. And beside her body sat the same golden Lubbubu doll, its smile stretched wider than ever. Witnesses later claimed one of Madeline's co-workers had taken the doll after her death. Online forums still argue whether the doll is real or just an internet hoax. But many insist it's true, that the Lubbubu doll is cursed, possessed by a demon, and still out there. So what do you think? Is the Lubbubu doll truly haunted? Or is it all just a terrifying rumor?